This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Hey, I got my normal set back again. Cairo, it was just, wow, it's hard to do it. Yeah, it was fun having Cairo here. Yeah. Anyways, I was sitting around and I... Yeah, Cairo, good job, man. No, it worked out. It looked pretty good. It just made my head look just massive. Yeah, I played golf today, and I don't know. It was weird. It's like the golf gods were against me. Lipped it out 4 times, 3 penalty strokes. Yeah, nothing was working out. So where are you at now, Cairo? Are you in California? Yeah, well, I've shot 6 shots worse than last week. Yeah. I guess he already took off. Oh God, Stockton. Oh my God. Oh my God, that place is a nightmare. Man, you have to bring your own deadbolts. I mean, you gotta... As soon as you get in the hotel, you start getting out your hammer and screwdriver and putting in deadbolts. And, you know, just all kinds of stuff. You almost have like a bazooka aimed at the door in the hotels over there. Anyways, I thought I'd go over this 1967. I've had it for like 3 days, but we keep talking about the Murdaugh case over and over. So, you know, right now I think it's kind of at a lull. You know, there's a little bit of a lull here. I mean, it does sound like, you know, the new Daily Mail has kind of a transcript about the boating accident, or an interview. And it talks about how Timmy was, you know, slapped his girlfriend on the boat and everything. I mean, you know, he was Timmy. He wasn't Paul. Now, Stockton is just, Hey, Zozo, what's up? I just came on just now. Yeah, make sure you got your notifications are working correctly. Yeah, I mean, Stockton, when I went to Stockton, it was about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or something. Yeah, maybe, yeah, something like that. And I did a documentary for the Smoke Tree Ranch in Palm Desert. And I made like a DVD for them, and, you know, paid pretty good. But on the drive, I had to stop in Stockton one night. And man, when I got to the hotel, you had all these people, like the person that, I don't know what you call them, the front desk person, they were sitting on top of the counter, and there was some suspect, you know, girl standing next to this person, and then they like, I actually unloaded my entire vehicle and put it inside the room, and I didn't even sleep for 2 minutes. I'm not even sure what I was doing. I think if I just drove down the highway and parked, it would have been safer. Yeah, Stockton is the last place on earth you ever want to go. There's nothing useful there.
Gosh, Gary, I live there. You're mean.
Oh, God, get the hell out of there quick. Yeah, it's just like a total useless place. There's nothing. It's almost just sort of a town. Yeah, I don't even know, like a trucker sort of midway point, or some kind of a. You got me. It's just a ridiculous place. Alright, well anyways, I'm going to get started on this. See if we can get through it. Alright, this is the 1967 murder of Brenda Holland of High Point, North Carolina. Yeah, we said that already. Meredith's chat, yeah. Okay, let me see. I wasn't even going to come on, but I got home from golf, and then I was sitting around and go, gotta go on there. And I already had this stored up. Alright, so we're not talking about any of those other cases right now. Although I will say that I did find the scanner. I've looked in the scanner stuff before too. I have a subscription to Broadcastify. There was scanner audio in that in the Summer case. And they tell a little different story, but then you don't really know if it's. Did the person on the scanner mishear what the dad said or something? It's hard to know. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I've seen all these things. See, everybody sends me all these things, and then they want me to be talking about what they want me to be talking about. And I just want to do what I want to do, okay? And if I feel interested in what you want me to talk about, then I'll talk about that thing. So if you send me something and I'm interested, then I'll discuss it. If not, then I won't. You'll have to find somebody else to sell it to. Okay? Right. So anyways, here we go. I'm going to go over this Brenda Holland right here. Yeah. The Dare County Sheriff's Department, this is 1967, July 3rd newspaper here. The Dare County Sheriff's Department and officials of the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama Sunday were seeking the production company's pretty makeup supervisor missing since Friday. And this is Monday, so she was missing the entire weekend. Sheriff Frank Cahoon said Brenda Joyce Holland, 19, of Canton, was last seen Friday night by a fellow Lost Colony staff member whom she dated after the performance. So she went out on a date after the performance. The sheriff said Danny Barber, a UNC student and a 5-year veteran with the company, told him he and Miss Holland went to a tavern, had one beer, then went to Nag's Head Fishing Pier and watched fishermen for a while. Yeah, so let me... Yeah, so here's Nag's Head Fishing Pier. So he says that they went there. A lot of these bars and everything they're not there anymore. And I don't know if the Lost Colony, they do plays, and I don't know if they're still in the same area or not. But there it is right there. Yeah, so he said he had one beer, and then they both went to Nag's Head Fishing Pier and watched fishermen for a while. Later, they went to Barber's house, the actual, the boyfriend that's saying that they did this. They went to his house in Manteo, which he shares with two other young men. And, the guy that went on a date with Brenda is Barber. That's his last name. Let's see. Yeah, Danny Barber, okay. So then later they went to Barber's house in Monteo, which he shares with two other young men. Barber told the sheriff. They had another beer there, and then he went to sleep, the sheriff quoted Barber as saying. Then he awoke at dawn, and the girl was gone. I don't know, that just seems kind of weird. The sheriff said he had found nothing to indicate foul play, but that he was not ruling out its possibility. I mean, when if you took somebody home, I don't think you'd be, just crashing when they're still there, I don't know. The sheriff said he had found nothing to indicate foul play, but that he was not ruling out its possibility. We just don't know where she is, he said. Cahoon added that there is a possibility Miss Holland accompanied one of the men who shared Barber's house on a trip to the man's home in Connecticut. He said he had not learned the name of the man who reportedly had gone to Connecticut. So that's one of the roommates of Barber. Miss Barber lived about 5 or 6 blocks from Barber's house. Her landlady and roommate said she had not slept in her bed Friday or Saturday night. Right, so she wasn't in there Friday night, Saturday night, and obviously, probably not Sunday either. Come on, open it up. There it is. And none of her personal belongings were missing from the room. John Fox, manager of the Lost Colony, it's like a play company, said no one was concerned about Miss Holland's absence until she failed to show up for the performance Saturday night. He explained that they assumed she had spent the night with friends. A tall, attractive girl, Miss Holland was not believed to be a heavy drinker or the kind of girl who would abandon her responsibilities for a lark. When she did not show up Saturday night, Fox notified the sheriff. The sheriff interviewed Barber and all the boys the girl had dated. He said he found no evidence that might lead him to the girl's whereabouts. A student at Campbell College, Miss Holland is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charles W. Holland of Canton, Route 1. Authorities had not been able to contact the parents by Sunday afternoon. The Hollands were said to be spending the weekend at a lake in western North Carolina. Miss Holland has been active in the theater as a singer, dancer, costumer, and makeup artist since she entered Campbell College. She was a contestant in the 1966 Miss Haywood County pageant and was voted Miss Congeniality by her fellow contestants. In addition to her makeup duties at the Lost Colony pageant, hey, thanks, AK donated, or AK, it's funny, it's like, that's such a small... So Alaska sent me a super chat. Thank you. Yes, I know this is late, but...
Kiss theory comes into play. Hashtag love wins.
Kiss theory comes into play. When last seen, she was wearing a pink skirt with a multicolored blouse and carrying a beach bag. She is 5 feet, 7 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds and has natural brown hair. Right. Then on 4th of July, that was the 3rd of July. A pocketbook and shoulder bag, identified as belonging to a missing Campbell College co-ed, were found Monday at Monteo on a dirt road. The road, though a heavily wooded, through a heavily wooded area, is about 2 miles from where Brenda Joyce Holland, 19 of Canton, was last seen Friday night. That's right, because she lives just within blocks of the Barber character, and they lived in Canton. Or, Manteo. The road through a heavily wooded area is about 2 miles from where Brenda Joyce Holland, 19 of Canton, was last seen Friday night. A resident of the area, George Washington King, found the pocketbook as he was walking along the road. A roadwork crew found the shoulder bag later on the other side of the road, about 100 yards away. The road is a loop from US 64. So let's see if any of that's oh, wow, that just popped right in there. Yeah, it's weird. The road, a loop from US 64 to US 264. That was funny because up here it had them both just randomly showed up like that. How did that happen? Oh, okay, right here. There you go. So that's 64. And then I bet it's right around in this area anyways. And that's Manteo right there. So that kind of makes sense. That's interesting. I wonder if it's over here. Let me put in Highway 264. Yeah, so that's just right there. That's Highway 264, and so maybe right in this area. And it was a shoulder bag. Yeah. Are you okay, AK? You seem like you're out of it. You're guessing? I don't know what that means. I'm currently on vacation in St. Louis. It's about midnight here. Wow, Juju positive. Crazy. The road, a loop from US 64 to US 264, is just outside the Manteo city limit on Roanoke Island. Let's see, hold on. Okay, right there. So that looks like kind of like a loop, that maybe that's what they're talking about. See, there's 64 and then 264. So what was it saying about that? The road, a loop from US 64 to US 264, is just outside the Manteo city limit. So it could be anywhere on this. I mean, it could even be over here. Because it's just kind of a loop. And it's just outside the Manteo city limits. So I'm going to actually put it over here. Kind of makes sense, actually. Alright. The pretty blue-eyed blonde was makeup supervisor for the Lost Colony Outdoor Symphonic Drama at Fort Raleigh. Let's see if that's still around here. Yeah. Oh, so it's right here. Huh, so it's right here. I wonder if this is where they do all the... Well, let me just see if there's a different, just Fort Raleigh without the national park. Maybe it became one. No, it's all right there. Oh, right there, look at that. Boom. There we go. That's the, right there, Lost Colony. That's where they would perform right there. Alright, they went to, let's see. The pretty blue-eyed blonde was makeup supervisor for the Lost Colony Outdoor Symphonic Drama at Fort Raleigh. Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon said Miss Holland had a date Friday night with Danny Barber, a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and a singer in the production choir. So he was one of the performers at the Lost Colony. Sheriff Cahoon said Barber told of these events. He and Miss Holland went to a tavern, had one beer, and then went to Nag's Head Fishing Pier and watched the fishermen. They then went to Barber's apartment in Manteo, which he shares with two other men. Barber and the girl had another beer. Then he fell asleep. When he awoke, Miss Holland was gone. A roommate, Earl Miras, of Buffalo, New York, was gone also. Sheriff Cahoon said Miras told his employers, West Virginia Pulp and Paper Company, that he was going to Connecticut, the place unspecified, to visit a girl. Police efforts to locate him have failed, but the sheriff said Miras is expected to return on Wednesday. And that's kind of interesting. But I mean, they need to question the roommates and say, was she even here? I'm sure they've done that. A search and rescue helicopter from Coast Guard Air Station in Elizabeth City flew over the marshy area surrounding the girl's apartment, but discovered no clues. A search party of some 75 staff members of Lost Colony traced the route to the girl from Barber's apartment to her own, but also found nothing. The girl's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Charles W. Holland of Canton, so they live on, let's see, where is Canton? Yeah. Thanks, LM. It's gonna be a slow one. Okay, so they live in Canton, Route 1. Where's Route 1 in Canton? Well, it's interesting because the dad lived here for a long time. I wonder if that was Route 1 at one point. Because there's Canton, and then the dad, I found his address. He lived there for a long time. But US Highway 1. Yeah, there's 110. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe it's a state. Yep. Still 110 there. Yeah, I don't know exactly where Route 1 was in 1967. Alright, let's see. The girls' parents, Mr. and Mrs. Charles W. Holland of Canton, were vacationing at Lake Glenville when sheriff's deputies located them and told them of their daughter's disappearance. Mr. Holland said, "I don't think she left Monteo of her own free will." The owner of the house where the girls stayed, Miss Cora Twyford, said the girl's room had not been disturbed. All her clothing and personal articles were exactly left for work Friday morning, or exactly the way they were left Friday morning. "She's one of the nicest girls we've had down here. She's not the partying kind of heavy drinker," said John Fox, business manager of the production. The girl's father said she had been voted Miss Congeniality in the Miss Haywood County contest last year and appeared to be very happy with her job in Monteo. Mrs. Holland described her daughter as the most wonderful girl, a good Christian girl. The summer job at Monteo was Brenda's first employment away from her home, her mother said. A home economic major, she worked at college on costumes for school productions, and she was thrilled over her job at Monteo. She gave up a job with more money to get the experience working with makeup and costumes, her mother said. The college helped her get the job, Miss Holland said, and I didn't want her to go. The whole thing just a nightmare. Leaving her job without explanation just doesn't sound like Brenda at all. She said last summer, according to her mother, Brenda worked at Dayco in Waynesville, and also for Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Bonero, who own a Miami motel and restaurant at Candler. Miss Barrero has received a 5-page letter from Brenda written on Friday, the day of her disappearance. Wow. Barrero described Brenda, who had worked for them for 2 years, as a very sensible girl. She wasn't scatterbrained at all. Reading the account of her unexplained disappearance, he said she would never do that. After reading of Brenda's disappearance in Monday morning's paper, Mrs. Barrero telephoned Mrs. Holland at 7 a.m. to read her the letter she had received from Brenda on Saturday. That'd be so weird. She was very happy, loved her work there, and the people she met. She said she was terribly happy and underlined the words Mrs. Barrero said this morning. The letter described her job, her salary, her apartment, and her activities in general, according to Mrs. Barrero. She didn't sound interested in any particular person. She just seemed to have many friends, she said. The letter told of going on the beach one night with a group of friends where they swam late and watched porpoises in the water. In that group of people, they talked shop, Miss Barrero said, and that was right down her lane. The Barreros expressed great fondness for Brenda. She called Mr. Barrero Papa Tony and have always considered her as one of their own child. The Hollands have 3 other children: 24-year-old daughter Mrs. Vernon Early of Canton, a son Charles 12, and a daughter Kim 9. Okay, now there's something about screams. Come on, Logan. Can you just try to be reasonable? All right, just try not to have it's not jokes every 2 seconds. All right, let's see. Probers told about scream during night. A scream in the night and 2 apparent bloodstains along a highway near where a pretty 19-year-old Lost Colony cast member disappeared early Saturday came to light during investigations here Tuesday. Ah, Jesus. Can we just focus on this story, please? Is that cool? All right, awesome. Excellent. Robert H. Midget. Sorry, it wasn't a joke. That's the actual name there. Robert H. Midget, Dare ABC supervisor, who was contacted Monday by a black man who found a pocketbook and shoulder bag belonging to Miss Brenda Joyce Holland, told authorities he heard a scream early Saturday morning. Further investigation uncovered 2 apparent bloodstains near where Midget placed the scream. That's weird. The ABC officer gave, let's see, I think it's one reason or a reason, gave a reason for not making the information available prior to Tuesday afternoon. The girl's wallet and shoulder bag were found along an isolated dirt road about 2 miles from where she was last seen early Saturday. A search of the area Tuesday uncovered a pair of women's panties which had a slight tear. The undergarment was found in a culvert near an old abandoned asphalt plant. I wonder if we can see any of that stuff. Old abandoned asphalt plant. Man, I wish they would give it out. This is one. It's kind of weird because they don't really give out the addresses too often in this. Good night, Richard Watts. And now I've got to read these comments. Yeah. All right, the girl's wallet and shoulder bag were found along an isolated dirt road about 2 miles from where she was last seen early Saturday. A search of the area Tuesday uncovered a pair of women's panties which had a slight tear. The undergarment was found in a culvert near an old abandoned asphalt plant on the dirt road. They have not definitely been identified as belonging to Miss Holland. U.S. Coast Guard dragging operations in the culvert have turned up no further evidence. Midget, who lives about 2 blocks from Miss Holland, Friday date, told authorities. Oh, next to the date she had. So he lived about 2 miles from. Now I can't remember the guy's name. Shit. It was ungodly scream. Okay, so Midget, who lives about 2 blocks from Miss Holland's Friday date, told authorities Tuesday he heard a woman's ungodly scream. So that probably was at that house at about 4 a.m. Saturday, so that sort of makes sense. This is the way he constructed the events. He heard an apparently old model car early Saturday morning, which seemed to be lumbering along with misfiring engine. He said dogs began barking, but he was unable to see the car when it stopped because the view from its porch bedroom was obstructed by a strip of woods. Around 40 minutes later, a woman's ungodly scream broke the stillness of the night, said Midget. He got out of bed again. The dogs continued their barking. Midget said he heard a scraping or dragging sound which lasted for 10 or 15 minutes. Midget placed the time of the scream at about 3:40 a.m. Saturday, but he did not report the incident to authorities. He said that later, about dawn, he heard the car crank up and drive away. Officers found a quantity of oil which apparently leaked from a car in the general area where Midget placed the screen. Further search revealed 2 apparent bloodstains, one about the size of a quarter and the other slightly larger. Samples of the stain were taken for analysis. Miss Holland disappeared from the apartment of Danny Barber early Saturday morning. The makeup supervisor for the Lost Colony production had dated the young man Friday night. Probably just better to say he went on a date. Yeah. Disappeared from his home while he slept. Barber, a UNC Chapel Hill student from Goldsboro, told authorities that he and Miss Holland left the theater and visited a tavern where they had a beer. The couple later went to Nag's Head Fishing Pier, and they were watching fishermen there. And then they went to Barber's house, which he shared with 2 other guys. So then now there's 3 guys and her there. Barber said they had another beer and that he fell asleep. When he awoke, Miss Holland was gone. Barber's roommates were identified as Rodney Britt, an employee of the Carolinian, Nag said, and Earl Myris, a Duke University forestry student. Myris had not been located by local authorities, but is reported to have gone to Connecticut for the holiday weekend to visit a girlfriend. Britt told authorities Tuesday that Myris's car was parked in the yard about 7:30 a.m. Saturday when Britt left for work. Sheriff Frank Cahoon called on volunteers Tuesday to comb the wooded area, while Coast Guardsmen carried out futile dragging operations. Approximately 75 persons participated in the ground search. Cahoon said that blood-stained samples from the highway will be sent to the State Bureau of Investigation laboratories Wednesday. He says he also plans to confer with the National Guard in Elizabeth City to determine the feasibility of a mass ground search using guardsmen. Yeah. So, and just for the hell of it, what in the hell did the whale have to do with anything? Just curious. That's what I'm curious about. What did the whale have to do with anything that we're talking about? Hey, Jen H. Hey, Metal Madness, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out real quick. With the whole, the whale, somebody ate a whale. Like, how does that have to do with what we're talking about? Okay, but what did that have to do with what we're talking about? I'm trying to figure out how that got brought up. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Just like Metal Madness, the thing about MSM uses racism to show, yeah, that's true, but it had nothing to do with what we were talking about. Yeah. Yeah, but what are you talking about, LM? Yeah, but no, I think he was replying to somebody else. The whale thing. Yeah, whales don't eat people. Maybe killer whales, but the rest of them they eat like plankton. Maybe I should just send myself to jail.
Gosh, Gray, you're so mean.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess we won't be continuing the story. That's because I'm now in jail. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to be on the next page as soon as I get out of here. I don't know, Michelle Nicholas. I don't think the island... should have gone to the beach. We have a bar over here called Tillicum. The Tillicum. Thanks, Cairo, but you notice that wasn't for bail, everybody. It just said whales. See, now it's whale, not bail. I got $7 for whales, but no bail. Well, I guess we'll just be sitting in here. But it all helps out, you guys. You guys know how it works.
Whales.
Right? Even on these late night shows, we're trying to get the no more jail gray. Okay, Lanky Tor, Brown Bear Cub, and Michelle Nicholas. Alright. I'm out of here.
Whale, not bail.
Whale, not bail. Well, thank you, Sandra Turner. That got me a cab ride home and a hotel. And D&K Reck helped me out with the... Wow, what a crazy number. 253. Whale, no bail. No. Wait, Rhea Mazzarone gave bail. And then Ellen was whale, no bail. Yeah, now I'm confused. Totally confused. Oh, well, thank you, Linda Howe. Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Corrupt Circles. You know, see the headline on this one?
Towards bail money.
Well, you can't. Oh. All right. Oh, yeah.
Bail.
If all I had was cab money, enough to buy a cab or a hotel in Stockton, I'd buy a cab. Okay? Let's just put it that way. It's really the last resort. Thanks, Susanna McGillipadre. Yeah. Yeah, I would literally... man. It's almost better to be homeless than to stay in a hotel.
Whale,
in
no
Stockton.
bail. I'm riding the wave.
Wow, you guys, thanks. Lanky Tor, Baby Brown Bear Cub. Yeah, I'm not saying that everything you guys talk about has to be related, but I was just so confused. There was like nothing related to what we were talking about.
Just because I love you all.
So, Logan, I wasn't specifically calling you out. I'm just saying that I didn't know what the whale and a person... Whales don't eat people other than killer whales. Okay.
Bail for the great grey whale.
Oh, and I got some ramen money. Thank you, Lanky Tor, Baby Brown Bear Cub.
Ramen money.
Yeah, it never happened. Okay. So here we go. See this title right here? This is the same title that shows up in every single Chris Watts video. At least it should, right? Still no new information. Yeah, it's just, well, I mean, you can invent new information. That's for sure. Yeah, it's just a story in a book. Oh, yeah? Jeez. See you later, Lanky Tor, Baby Brown Bear Cub. I like Lanky Tor. Alright, here we go. The mystery of Brenda Joyce Holland's disappearance from the Lost Colony troop here deepened Wednesday. The 20-year-old blonde from Canton, a makeup supervisor for the outdoor drama, had been missing since Friday. Police have hoped that Earl Myris, a Duke forestry student from Buffalo, New York, who also had disappeared Friday, might be able to tell them something of Miss Holland's whereabouts. But Myris returned to his job with a paper and pulp company here Wednesday morning after a trip to Connecticut and knew nothing of the girl's disappearance. Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon said he expected to have additional help in searching the ponds, swamps, and waterways that dot Roanoke Island and North Carolina's Outer Banks. A busload of Campbell College student classmates of the missing girl was expected to arrive from Buies Creek Wednesday evening. In addition, a detachment of the Marines in helicopters was expected to fly from Cherry Point today to aid in the search. Cahoon also said police were checking reports of a Charlotte man who said he saw what looked like a body floating face down in the ocean far off Surf City, a beach down the coast from Mexico, or Monteo, Mexico. Surf City, a beach far off Surf City, a beach down the coast from Monteo. The man, George Mills, said he saw the body late Saturday afternoon and didn't think more of it until he read about the missing girl. What a weird comment. Yeah. Hey, you know, and I saw a body, you know, and that's cool. Yeah, I just went back, had my Coke and a smile. And then, oh my God, then the next day I read in the paper that there was a missing girl, and then I was like, oh wow, I need to say something. Because if it wasn't for the paper, I just would have not cared that there was a body floating in the ocean, right? That make any sense to anybody? The man, George Mills, said he saw the body late Saturday. You know, just another body at that point. And he didn't think more of it until he read about the missing girl. Well, you guys find that a little weird? I mean, honest to God, it's... Yeah, he was just like, let's see. Oh, look at, there's a hawk. Oh, look at a turtle running across the road. A dead body in the water. That's crazy. Oh, look at a deer over there. Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, Bernadette, do you have the newspaper? Holy crap! There's a missing girl. You know what? I bet that body that I saw earlier was the one that they're talking about. Yeah. No. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Oh, shit. I looked, he said, as it were, it looked as though it was dressed in a red shirt or blouse. But I really hadn't thought much about it until the newspaper. When last seen, Brenda Joyce Holland was wearing what Sheriff Cahoon called a very colorful blouse and a pink skirt. I think this person was just sort of like trying to insert themselves. You know, you get those people a lot. Oh my God, I live 87 miles from there. To date, the search for the girl was turned up only a shoulder bag and purse identified as hers, and some underwear that cannot be identified. Good night, Michelle Nicholas. Robert 8 Midget, supervisor of Dare County's 3 ABC stores, said he heard an ungodly woman scream in the area where Brenda Joyce was last seen. He also said he heard a sound like a shovel being dragged on the concrete and then heard a car drive off. I wonder if it was like almost sounds like a fender, but then you'd hear the car too. The sheriff's department is having stains found on the road near the spot analyzed. I wonder what that turned out. Okay, well now that was on the 6th, and now we're on the 7th, and this is Friday, a week later, and now she was found. Brenda Joyce Holland, 20, the missing makeup supervisor for the outdoor drama The Lost Colony, was strangled to death with a fairly thin rope, an autopsy report indicated Thursday. The autopsy was performed at City Crime Laboratory in Norfolk, Virginia, where Miss Holland's body was taken after being found Thursday, so just the day before this article, floating in shallow water in Albemarle Sound, about 10 miles north of here. So, just based on reading things, I think she was found kind of right in this area. And this is the sound that they're talking about. The autopsy was performed at City Crime Laboratory in Norfolk, Virginia. Dr. H.H. Cormishing, pathologist with Norfolk City Crime Laboratory, also said he found women and he said the young woman had received blows to the side of her face and the side of her head and suffered bruises on her left arm and left chest. The autopsy should be completed sometime this morning. The pathologist said, and then he said, until more laboratory tests are made, he said he would be unable to determine if Miss Holland had been molested. Kermiching said the young woman apparently was thrown into the sea on the night she disappeared, or possibly the following morning. Miss Holland's partially decomposed body was found by Major John A. King of the Kingston Civil Air Patrol Unit, who was flying with Captain Jack S. Howell of New Bern. And that's not Mr. Howell from the Gilligan's Island, okay? Because I know we were talking about last night, Marianne, and so I don't want you to get confused, okay? All right, so King spotted the body about 10 a.m. caught on a stump near the tiny community of Mashews. So that's like, let me type in Mashews. See, it's right here. Like, I think this little tiny community is called Mashews, right? Four and a half hours later, the body was recovered by searchers in a boat who returned it to Manteo for positive identification. Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon speculated that the body may have been thrown into Croton Sound from the John Umstead Bridge, which connected Manteo on Roanoke Island with the mainland. So, yeah, so this is the name of that bridge, the John Umstead Bridge, and it makes sense because remember a minute ago, it sounds like the shoulder bag was found kind of over in this area, and she was probably just thrown off here, and then her body floated over just to this area over here, which isn't really even that far, I don't think, but yeah, about 4 miles, 4.25. Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon speculated that the body may have been thrown into Croatan Sound from the John Umstead Bridge. Cahoon said the body was identified by Danny Barber, a singer, that's actually the boyfriend, in the guy that went on a date with her, the Lost Colony troupe. Found around Miss Holland's neck was a small silver locket which said Miss Haywood Pageant, and that was on one side, and contestant on the other side. Miss Holland, a resident of Route 1 Canton, was chosen Miss Congeniality in the Miss Haywood County Beauty Pageant in 1966. Shortly after identification was made, the body was sent to the crime laboratory in Norfolk, the laboratory closest to Manteo, where most post-mortem examinations were performed. The discovery of the body ended a 5-year search for Miss Holland, who had been missing since visiting Barber. 5-day search for Miss Holland, who had been missing since visiting Barber's apartment after Friday evening's performance. Barber had told Sheriff Cahoon that he and Miss Holland left the theater at about 11 p.m. Friday and went to Drafty Tavern, where they each drank 1 beer. I wonder if that's still here. And that would have been in Man. That's probably not there. It's almost like no chance. So, I mean, it could have been one of these, but we don't know anymore. Lost Colony Brewery. After a brief visit to a fishing pier at Nag's Head, so, I mean, the way it works is that they were yeah, this is where they performed right here. And then they must have driven somewhere to a bar, and then they went all the way out here to Nag's Head Fishing Pier. And where they drank, oh, let's see, they went to Nag's Head Fishing Pier, and he said Miss Holland went to his apartment after that, which he shared with 2 other men, where they drank another beer. Okay, so that's where I mean, some of that's all repetitive, but that's not bad either. Barber fell asleep, the sheriff was told, and when he awoke Saturday morning, Miss Holland was gone. Her disappearance was reported to police Saturday night when she did not show up for the performance. In succeeding days, the county sheriff and other law enforcement agents investigated clues indicating that Miss Holland may have been abducted. On Monday, a man reported finding her shoulder strap, purse, and wallet on a county road in a wooded section of the northern Roanoke Island, about 10 miles from where the body was found. Yeah, so I think it's right over here. That's where the body was found, but I think if we went... Let me just see. Yeah, I mean, as a crow flies, it's 5.6, but I bet you if you drove like this, it would be about 10. I think this wooded area here, somewhere around in there, maybe, heck, maybe that's even the county road right there. Wow, look at that. Jeez. Yeah, some kind of like a road like that, but in 1961. Let me see how far back this goes. 1993. And that's still there where the play was. So there's all these different roads back in here. And I think it was her articles of clothing were found in here somewhere. And that's probably where she was assaulted even. I wouldn't be surprised. Look at that. That stuff wasn't even there. Look at that. So way back then, this was all just kind of... I mean, I bet you even before that, it's... I mean, there's no homes there. Let's put it that way. So it would have been like a lover's lane-ish type place that you could go. Thanks, Daryl Montgomery.
Missed the last couple shows. Hope you all are good.
I'm just happy to get on to some other case for a bit, you know? Okay, on Monday, a man reported finding a shoulder strap, purse, and wallet on a country road in a wooded section of northern Roanoke Island. And I think that's what this is, right? Let me just make sure. Roanoke. Yeah, so northern, so it would be up here. On Tuesday, a man who lived near Miss Holland's apartment reported having heard a scream early Saturday morning. On Wednesday, a Charlotte man vacationing on the Outer Banks reported having seen what could have been a body floating in the ocean near Surf City, south. Let's see where that is. Yeah, no, that's not. That's nowhere near. That's nothing. Thursday morning, the search for Miss Holland was intensified. Wait, let me see. On Wednesday, a Charlotte man vacationing on the Outer Banks reported having seen what could have been a body floating in the ocean near Surf City, south of Monteo. That sighting has been discounted. Good. Thursday morning, the search for Miss Holland was intensified. Joining the Sheriff's Department and Coast Guard units were 15 Marines from Camp Lejeune, who brought helicopters to search the backwoods of nearby Dismal Swamp. Let's see if that's still there. It's going to be north again. Huh. I don't know why you would look there. About 25 men, students from Campbell College and Buies Creek, where Miss Holland was a student, also had joined the search party. Miss Holland was wearing a two-piece leopard skin bathing suit covered by burgundy skirt she was wearing when she... How did you know that she was wearing that? Or when she was found? I don't know. Was wearing a two-piece leopard skin bathing suit covered by the burgundy skirt she was wearing when she dated Danny Barber Friday night, Her blouse was gone. Okay. So that's what she had on, I guess. The girl's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Holland, were told of their daughter's death shortly after identification was made. Thank you, Rita Schaefer. She had come to Manteo from western North Carolina, where they were vacationing. The parents. The girl's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Holland, were told of their daughter's death shortly after identification was made, and then they came back, obviously. Yeah, and then there's actually an image in the paper where that's the boat, and I guess she's like underneath this. I don't know what it is, but the pictures that were taken back in the day are so much better than ones now. They always have so much more emotion in them. Like there's just something different. It's not because they're black and white either. I mean, look at it. You just feel like this solemn moment where she's in the boat and these guys are like, dang, man, jeez. Like some of these you'd want framed if you had the original. The body of missing Brenda Joyce Holland was returned to Mashews 12 miles north of Manteo in this boat. In the boat is Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon. At right is James L. Henson, owner of the boat. Major John A. King, left, and Captain Jack S. Howe of the Kingston Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol spotted the body in Albemarle Sound. Alright, now we're on to the next one. Yeah, I mean, there's so many that I've found over the years I've been doing this that you definitely could frame just as sort of a wall of crime. They're interesting. Okay. The Dare County Sheriff's Department called the State Bureau of Investigation Friday to help probe the strangulation death of Brenda Joyce Holland, 19, of Canton. A report by the medical examiner said there was strong physical evidence of rape and bruises over much of the girl's body. He said the girl had been strangled by a thin piece of woven rope. The body was found in the Albemarle Sound Tuesday near the small fishing village of Mashews, near Manteo, on the North Carolina coast. The girl was wearing a chemise. What's a chemise? I have no idea. Hold on. Okay, something like that, like a nightie, a nightgown, right? Let me make sure. Let me look at this one more time. I got to make sure. Just kidding. All right. Let's see. Man, where the hell was that? Okay. She's wearing a kind of like a nightgown, I guess, or nightie or whatever, over her underwear and a skirt, but there were no shoes, stocking, or blouse on the body. The pretty blonde was first reported missing Saturday afternoon when she failed to appear. Hey, come on, I was just goofing around now. Rita Schaefer, come on. Jeez. But hold on. Hold on a second. Let me go. Oh, man. The pretty blonde was first reported missing Saturday afternoon when she failed to appear at her job, makeup supervisor. Barber told the sheriff he and Miss Holland... yeah, we've heard that 1,000 times. Let's see. Barber said he and Miss Holland then went to his apartment where they had another beer and went into the bedroom to talk, that's something new, and read magazines. Barber said he fell asleep, and when he awoke, Miss Holland was gone. So maybe she got up and was just going to hitchhike home or walk home. Or the search intensified Sunday and Monday as the Coast Guard station, I think they meant guard, not Gart station, at Elizabeth City sent boats to drag nearby lakes. The entire staff of Lost Colony joined the search along with 20 youngsters. Cahoon said he has no definite suspects. He planned to question everyone who had seen Holland before her disappearance. Okay, I'm just going to move on to the next one. It's all about the memorial service. And I think I know who these three are, right? The three boys. Barber and the two other roommates. Sheriff plans to question 3. Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon said Saturday, there are at least 3 persons we want to question thoroughly about the death of Brenda Joyce Holland. He declined to identify them. Miss Holland, 19 years old, supervisor for the Lost Colony outdoor drama at Monteo. She's not really the supervisor, she's the wardrobe supervisor. Was reported missing July 1st, and her strangled body was found 5 days later in Albemarle Sound. All right, then it goes like 2 weeks later. Yep, still remains a mystery. Mystery is nothing new to this sunbathed island. Folks are still trying to unravel one that started here nearly 400 years ago when a whole colony vanished. But that famed mystery has taken a back seat. No, I didn't. I thought that was that's weird. So a whole colony vanished. That might be an interesting little side thing to look at. But that famed mystery has taken a back seat to a riddle that is only about a week old. Who killed pretty Brenda Joyce Holland? Now, what if she was homely? Would it have said that? Who killed homely Brenda? You know, it's weird how they always talk about. They want you to know. Oh, so she was. That's what's sad. Is the reality is people sometimes do care more because somebody's pretty. You know. Oh wow, she's pretty. Well, hell, tell me all about it. Does a dangerous killer lurk still among the whispering pines, ready to strike again? Like the original mystery that haunts these lowlands, the death of Brenda Joyce, a conscientious makeup supervisor for the Lost Colony, seems immune to a solution. The battered body of the 19-year-old Route 1 Canton girl was found floating in Albemarle Sound 2 weeks ago. She had been strangled with a braided rope. Medical authorities said there was a strong possibility she had been raped. Thank you, LM. Brenda Joyce was last seen alive by Danny Barber of Goldsboro, a member of the Lost Colony cast. He dated her after the show. They went to a tavern, then strolled along the fishing pier, returned to the house, which Barber shares with 2 other men, then had more beer. Barber said, played a record. See, now that's a little extra. Played a record and went to sleep. I thought it was reading magazines. When he awakened around dawn, Brenda Joyce was gone. When her body was found, it was barefoot. Her pretty, multicolored blouse was missing. Her personal articles were found at various places on Roanoke Island. But the trail of the killer has grown cold. The Dare County Sheriff's Department and a special 5-man State Bureau of Investigation team have sifted through the meager evidence. They have followed up all clues. They have interviewed dozens of persons. But at last report, Sheriff Frank Cahoon admitted sadly that he has more questions than answers. The sheriff wonders what happened to her blouse. At first he thought it could have washed off, but no longer. The blouse had 3/4 length sleeves and a zipper in the back. Friends recalled that it wasn't the kind that would wash off. The motive? Another puzzler for the sheriff. Brenda Joyce was well liked. I know, but you know, rapist serial killer types, they don't care if they're well liked or not. Oh, you're well liked? Okay, go. You go ahead and go home. Apparently, she wasn't romantically involved with anyone. If she had an enemy, no one knew about it. She wasn't carrying enough money to justify robbery. And the evidence isn't by any means conclusive that she was raped. And what about those personal belongings? Authorities found her pocketbook and cosmetics 2 miles from where she was last known to be alive. Her shoes were found near a golf course. Oh, okay, let's see. John. Okay, there's gotta be. I bet that's still there. So that's something else we can add here. So there's the bridge, and it was a golf course near the bridge. Let's see. Oh, well, there it is right there. Ace Run Disc Golf Course? Nah, they didn't even have that back then. I wonder if that's where the golf course used to be, though. You know what? Let's go back and... Well, that's 1993, so that's as far back as I can... Yeah, let's go to now. How about on this side? That's interesting. She was last seen. Wallet and cosmetics 2 miles from where she was last seen alive. Her shoes were found near a golf course near the John Umstead Bridge over Albemarle Sound. So that's what this is, though, right here. I mean, that's this. Wait a minute. Yeah, the John Umstead Bridge, and it said it was near the bridge. Okay, there's a golf course at Nag's Head. That's weird, this dumb disc golf thing. I wonder if you could see a remnant golf course. I wonder if that's what this was. A long time ago. Yeah, but see, this is 1993. That's even 26 years later. I don't know. I don't know where that golf course would be. And there's not one on the other side either. So, I mean, it is interesting that there's this Ace disc golf course right here. Was that once a golf course that they kind of converted over for disc? Because it's right at the exact spot that I was thinking it would be. So, I mean, I could just put like possible golf course here. And let's see what it looks like now. I wonder where you would even play this. It's it's not a lot of space. All right. So, and what about the scream in the night reported by a resident who lives near Barber? Questions. They waft over the island with each new breeze from the sea. But life goes on, swimming, fishing, working. But fear is loose on the island, and there are no answers for the questions, not yet. Okay, then we got one more from about 3 days after that. So it looks like maybe they found some more stuff. I mean, what would they? This guy just seemed to be throwing stuff everywhere. State Bureau of Investigation agent Clyde Fentress says several personal items belonging to Brendan Joyce Holland were found the same day her body was recovered from Albemarle Sound. Miss Holland, a Campbell College co-ed who was working as a makeup director for Lost Colony Drama near Manteo, was last seen alive June 30th. The body was discovered by the Dare County Sheriff's Department on July 6th. She had been strangled, and there was reported to have been evidence that she had been raped. No arrests have yet been made in the case. Yeah, this is weird. Fentress said Tuesday that the items found near where her body was located have all been identified as the property of Miss Holland. He listed them as including 2 combs, a paperback book, a lipstick mascara, and a pair of sandals, and said the investigation was continuing. So they found some more of her items, but kind of near where she was found. You know what's interesting is the book part. You know, the rest of that stuff people carry along, but the book almost sounds like she was kind of heading home or something, right? I doubt she would grab the book if somebody was attacking her. It almost seems like she left the house to get back home or something, and then something happened to her. Unless they were just trying to, you know, the roommate, if it was one of the roommates, were they just trying to get rid of all the signs of her, like if the book was left at their house. But they're already busted that she was at the house, so there would be no reason, right? So that's 1967, July 26th. And then it kind of just skips like 30 years into the future. But I thought it'd be good to go over this one. And that's a better, she has brown hair, she's not a blonde. I actually have another picture of her that, well, here's another kind of a random shot right here. There's one. The other one I don't see. All right, here we go. So this is a 1997 article, which is 24 years ago. And there we go. Let's see what it says. See, because usually in these ones there's more information. But let's see if there's way more information or very little different difference from what we already know. Right? Kim Holland Thorne remembers a Saturday like any other, that first day of July 1967. She was 9 years old, and she'd gone with her parents, and this is by Sarah Every, The Lost Colony Murder, it's called, in the 1997 July 6th edition of the News and Observer in North Carolina. Okay, Kim Holland Thorne remembers a Saturday like any other, that first day of July 1967. She was 9 years old, and she'd gone with her parents and an older brother to their little trailer in neighboring Jackson County on the shore of Lake Thorpe. The Hollands had enjoyed a fine day and had cooked out on the charcoal grill. Then sometime after they climbed into bed, they were awakened by a pounding at their door. It was their uncle. The sheriff had called from Monteo. Brenda was missing. Hurry. That's how the rest of Kim Thorne's life began, sliced by tragedy into distinctive periods, the before and the after. I remember they let me and my brother ride in a rescue vehicle, Kim says. I remember my mother calling me Brenda. I remember being stunned with the realization that I was 13, that Brenda was never coming home. It has been 30 years since Kim's big sister, Brenda Joyce Holland, was found strangled, floating in the brackish water of the Albemarle Sound near Monteo. She had been missing for 5 days from her job. Some of Brenda's things, which her sister kept, right there. Okay. She had been missing for 5 days from her job as a makeup artist at the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama. Times being gentler in 1967, the murder of Brenda Joyce Holland became one of the state's most sensational. Yet despite all the publicity and interest, the mystery of who murdered the pretty young college student has never been solved. Officials say there is little likelihood of ever closing the case at this point, despite revelations about one man long considered a suspect. Apparently it's some kind of a dentist or something. I always lose access to these. I might try to open it up in Firefox, see what happens, but officials say there's little likelihood of ever closing the case, and there was a person long considered a suspect. And while she is frustrated that the words "case closed" may not be stamped across her sister's thick State Bureau of Investigation file anytime soon, Thorne says she is at peace with the belief that she knows who killed her sister and why. It's all she has now. That, and remembering the good and the bad, the before and the after, to make sure that Brenda Joyce Holland is not forgotten. I hope they get into that. Man. Brenda was the first in the family to go to college, choosing what was then Campbell's College in something like Bewey's Creek, majoring in home economics and drama. The life of a college co-ed was a long way from life her parents knew in Canton, where they raised 4 children in Charles Holland's pay as a paper mill worker at the Champion plant besides the Pigeon River. But Brenda had always had a special spark. The second oldest of the 4 children, she was voted most congenial in the 1966 Miss Hayward County beauty pageant. Dated a high school football star, sang in a folk group, led church functions. It was at Campbell that she heard about the Lost Colony, which in 1967 was celebrating 30 years of depicting the state's first and most abiding mystery about the disappearance of its first settlers. When a drama coach mentioned that the production was looking for cast and crew members to work the summer season, Brenda signed on as, let's see, who's this right here? So I think this might be her sister right here. Maybe I'll try to get a hold of this lady if she's still out there. Hold on a second. I'm going to go get a Gatorade. Yeah, well, I hope you guys like these stories. You know, they're ones you'd probably never hear about otherwise. There is a guy that wrote a book on this somewhat recently, and apparently it has some of the answers, so I might be buying it. The link's in the description. Alright. So, that was the first page. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, some of these ones that we've gone over have just been crazy. So that's another picture of her. It looks quite a bit different kind of hairstyle. What was that one that we did that was 4 days? It was like, we did it for 4 days straight because it had so much in it. It was a lady that was in her, I think it was in Ohio, like 1957 or something. I think I actually have that in my folder to do at some point. I'm struggling finding time to do my Nefarious channel. It's difficult because this takes up almost all my time. Okay, let's see. My folks didn't want her to go because she would have to leave straight from college to Manteo, and they hadn't seen her since Easter. Let me go back to the first page. What was it saying up here? It was at Campbell that she heard about the Lost Colony. Oh yeah. To work for the summer season, Brenda signed on as a makeup specialist. Her parents were not pleased. My folks didn't want her to go because she would have to leave straight from college to Manteo, and they hadn't seen her since Easter, Thorne says. That meant they wouldn't get to see her again until the Christmas holiday. But Brenda convinced her parents to let her go. She wrote regularly, sending updates about the production and her peaceful life along the state's easternmost shore. The week of July 4th holiday, the Holland family left town for their usual vacation spot at the lake. It was a modest place. There was no telephone, and the TV reception was poor. On that Saturday night, they had all gone to bed before the news. Later they learned that TV had reported the story of a missing girl, a crew member for the Lost Colony drama. The sheriff's department had been trying to contact us, Thorne says. Everybody knew everybody, so when they couldn't get us, they got Uncle Lester. He knew we were at the lake, so we drove up there with them. That knock on the door changed everything. The day Brenda was missing the days Brenda were missing were a blur, Thorne says. My parents went immediately to Manteo, and my brother and I stayed with our oldest sister. The search lasted 5 days. The Coast Guard sent out helicopters, the Marines sent soldiers, Campbell College students, family members, friends, and townfolk from Manteo formed search teams after search team. A pilot with the Civil Air Patrol finally spied the body on July 6, 1967, floating among cypress trees off the coast of Mashews, a fishing village where the Albemarle and Croatan sounds come together. Her parents were spared from identifying the body, but when they saw pictures taken of their daughter during her work on the last colony, they were stunned to see that she had dyed her brown hair blonde. Oh, so it was blonde then. And bobbed it. Okay, yeah. Like, that's her normal look right there. And then, yeah, it looks totally different in that picture. Like, you wouldn't even know that that was the same person. An autopsy revealed that Brenda had been strangled with a braided rope and dumped in the ocean. My brother-in-law called me into a bedroom and then got down on his knees to tell me Brenda had been found. The family buried Brenda at the Ridgeway Cemetery in Candler, a few miles from their home in Canton, on July 8th. That would have been her 20th birthday. The service was unbelievable. There were flowers from floor to ceiling, Thorne says. I can remember leaving the funeral home and walking to my sister's house just up the street. Isn't that weird how you remember little things like walking up the street? Her family tried to focus on the future, but the ever-present question of who killed Brenda gave her mother nightmares and her father bouts of depression. The Dare County Sheriff's Department and later the FBI headed the murder probe, interviewing hundreds of suspects, potential witnesses, rumor mongers, and outright kooks. Like the guy who said he saw the body floating and didn't think much of it until it was reported. It was just little advanced the case. Okay, so this is, now we're going into the Brenda's last night right here. That summer, out on her own and away from the constricts of schools, Brenda Holland went out with friends, dated men, kept her own schedule. She told friends and wrote family that she was having a wonderful time. She had just begun seeing Danny Barber, a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and a member of the Lost Colony Chorus. On that last night, Brenda was seen alive. The two had gone out after the show to a nearby Drafty Tavern, a popular night spot. Brenda wasn't much of a drinker, but Danny had a beer and played pool with another cast member and his wife. After leaving the pub, they drove in Danny's Chevy Corvair to Jeanette's Pier in Nag's Head. Well, let's see, is that a different pier then? Let me see. They didn't say that before. Yeah, right there. Hopefully it's the same one, but maybe it's a different one. That's a different pier. That's the one, they said Nag's Head Fishing Pier before, but now this I'm gonna go with this one because it's 30 years later and it's probably a hell of a lot more accurate. And actually makes a lot more sense geographically. That was always kind of weird that it was so far up there. Yeah, because now look how close all of this stuff is. You know. Okay. Okay, Chevy Corvair to Jeanette's Pier in Nag's Head, where they ran into another friend and watched people fish for sharks. So hey, you guys weren't too far off. Maybe there could have been a deal with being eaten by a shark, but just not a whale. Hey, Kay Borges, does this story interest you at all? Just curious. You're always somewhere else, seems like. When he awoke the next morning, Brenda was gone. He assumed she had walked home. He wasn't worried until... Let's see, hold on. Then they headed to Barbara's house, which he shared with two other fellows. Danny grabbed another beer, and the two went up to his room to read a magazine. The couple kissed and made out. Now there's that information. Barbara told police, and he fell asleep. When he awoke the next morning, Brenda was gone. He assumed she had walked home. See, it kind of does seem like maybe because she had the book. He wasn't worried until he got to the production that night and discovered and she wasn't there. When Brenda turned up dead, case records indicate Barber was one of the suspects since he was the last to see her alive. He was never charged, and Thorne says there's a good reason. He didn't do it. Okay, so Barber didn't do it. That's what Thorne says. The rumors. Okay, so good. I don't mind hearing the rumors in this one, because it sounds like she believes they really that they know who did it and everything. Law officers chase one wild tale after another. An ex-convict said he heard another ex-con boasting of killing Brenda Holland. A man said he had seen guys acting weird in the woods and surmised that they were the killers. One drunk... let's see. Well, they mentioned Indians, but I'm not going to read that one. And to the bizarre goings-on, small-town Monteo were revealed. A town lush was found drunk and hiding in a coffin-like structure under the floor of the house. The police chief was accused of coercing a bogus confession from a mentally handicapped man. Various members of the town's social elite were linked in relevant and irrelevant liaisons. And then there was the talk about the local dentist, a man known for his violent drinking bouts. Speculation was that, the dentist, didn't I say dentist at the beginning? And there's the talk about the local dentist, a man known for his violent drinking bouts. Speculation was that Dr. Linus Edwards, crazed by liquor after a fight with his wife, Dottie, spotted Brenda as she walked home from Danny's house. See, I think she was walking home. Well, how do you know, Dana? Well, Gray, I've been following this story for years now, and I really feel like... Hey, listen, all I'm just telling you is that this is the first time it's being brought up, but I mentioned earlier that there was a dentist that was mentioned in another article, but you have to have a subscription after the second time you open it up. That the dentist seems suspect. That's what I was talking about. You said, yes, he's real sus to me. Who? Who is? Are you sending me on a vacation, Borgie? Oh, the guy she was kissing, yeah. Well, they seem to have cleared him. I mean, it's a little bit weird that he just kind of fell asleep or whatever, but I don't know. And then with no idea of how to get her home or something. But the sister doesn't think that he had anything to do with it. Right? Hey, look at that. I got sent to a vacation before I get to finish this. I'm so happy. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I see what you're saying. I think we got like a 30-second delay, Dana. All right. Hey, look, you can see part of my house back here. What side is it on? This one? Oh, yeah, over here. Oh, wait, I know how to fix it. I can go like this. If I click on the this and go like that. There you go. Look at that. A lot is lost in translation. Yeah, it's my portal. That's for damn sure. Well, you would. Hey, Dana, check it out though. If he had sex, he might have fallen asleep, right? Come on, you know that's the truth. And maybe he thought she was just going to stay overnight, but she went, I'm going to take off. See, I think finding the book, it told me that she may have been walking home. And it's weird how that's being brought up here, right? That now they're saying that a theory is that she was walking home already. And I totally think that that's legit. And the reason I think that is because she had a book with her. I mean, who the hell would bring a book if you're being abducted from something? It just doesn't make any sense. Everything else was reasonable. The book was the one item that suggests a different story. You know what I'm talking about? Thank you, Sarah Smile. Yes, everybody, this is the time for, buying me drinks and whatnot on my beach. Because we're still on a mission to collect the funds for the channel and the charities at the end of the month. And I'm going to be sending at least $3,000 to the DNA fund at the end of the month. Because at that point we'll have fully covered 2 of them. Now, if you were in Patreon or couple of random people, you would have seen the other case that we're funding. The tide is, I don't know what that means, Lanky Tor. What sounds like a Blondie song? Yeah, I hope you don't look at Perium because it doesn't exist. Thanks, Gen H. And Quietly Frozen. I like that name. And Rita Schaefer. I've always liked Quietly Frozen. It's kind of it's a unique, nobody else has that one. Right? Quietly Frozen. What does it mean? Rita Schaefer. Love the fruity yum. Yeah, this guy wrote a whole book on it. It just came out recently. Thank you, Sally Galerno. Ah, see? I got it that time. Well, thanks, K. Borgie. I'm a little bit more cranky today because, you know, golf. It wasn't that great. Just kind of tired. But I gotta finish this story off. Not too much more to go, but... Ooh, a strawberry shooter. I don't think I've had one of those. Yes. So thank you. All right. I'm going to go back to the... thank you for the mini vacation there, and thanks for all supporting the channel. You guys are always... I mean, it's... You know, basically, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. I wouldn't be able to do the show, and we wouldn't be donating so much to charity if it wasn't for all of you who just kind of keep it going every single day, because I do shows every single day. Like even today, I was like, I don't know, man, I'm so tired. And I said, screw it. Gotta do it. Because there's people that go, man, great. You know, I mean, I totally get it too. They say I get up in the morning, they always listen to my shows while they're doing something. And then when there isn't one, I feel bad, because then those people don't get to listen to anything. Thanks, D&K Reck. Oh yes, and yeah, well, I'm a father to my dogs, but yeah. Yes, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there tomorrow. We'll be doing our Delphi call-in show. Yep, got to keep on going. Your daddy. I know I probably act like one sometimes, right? Hey, are you guys paying attention? Hey, what do you guys... Yeah. Oh yeah, it's already tomorrow there. Well, I got 30 more minutes until tomorrow. But it's tomorrow where you are. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Back to the story. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Alright, let's just start here with the rumors again. Law officers chase one wild tale after another. The ex-convict said he heard another ex-convict boasting of killing Brenda Holland. A man said he had seen guys acting weird in the woods and surmised that they were the killers. One drunk, I guess this is an actual story. One drunk Indian wrestled another, and given his opponent's strength, decided he must be the killer. I don't know what the hell that means. And 2, the bizarre goings-on of small-town Monteo were revealed. A town lush was found drunk and hiding in a coffin-like structure under the floor of a house. The police chief was accused of coercing a bogus confession from a mentally handicapped man. Various members of the town's social elite were linked in relevant and irrelevant liaisons. And then there was the talk about the local dentist, a man known for his violent drinking bouts. Speculation was that Dr. Linus Edwards, crazed by liquor after a fight with his wife Dottie, spotted Brenda as she walked home, almost like it was Timmy after a fight with his wife, right? Spotted Brenda as she walked home from Danny's house and mistook her for his wife, realizing too late his error. I don't know about that. In the dark with the... Well, maybe, let's see. I guess with that hair, though, right? In the dark with her bleached blonde hair, Brenda resembled Dottie. It's a theory whose biggest proponent is Dottie Fry Edwards' former wife. Wow. So the former wife believes that. You know what's funny is this is so much like remember the Leota Camp? The neighbor thought that she was supposed to be the victim, but the guy went to the wrong house. It's a theory whose biggest proponent, is Dottie Fry Edwards' former wife. She says her husband physically abused her during their 5 years of marriage, and that she took off the night Brenda disappeared because he'd threatened to kill her. She didn't go to the sheriff at the time of the murder, but neighbors told investigators that they knew that they heard the Edwards fight and saw Dr. Edwards leave. Wow, so it sounds like this is actually some kind of a possibility here, right? Fight and saw Dr. Edwards leave after Dottie in the early morning hours. Fry says her husband told her several times that he had killed Brenda Holland. Wow, really? My husband was a brilliant man, says Fry, who is now the Dare County Register of Deeds, but he was very sick. Linus Edwards killed himself in 1971, leaving no explanation. Oh boy. Man, there might be something to this guy. You know, we've had like 3 cases where there's people killed. Remember the girl at the phone booth, and then her boyfriend came following in the truck, and then his truck broke down. That apparently was a hit, supposedly on somebody else with the same name though. A mistaken identity. Linus Edwards killed himself in 1971, leaving no explanation. Records indicate that police suspected Edwards all along, that they questioned him more than once about his activities the night Brenda disappeared. Case files also indicate that other relatives of Edwards told authorities they thought he had something to do with Brenda's death, or, at the least, that he was capable of doing terrible things when he drank, i.e. Timmy. While the SBI has not ruled out the dentist, evidence to charge him never materialized. He also apparently passed a polygraph test. Well, I'm glad they continued to look at him even passing that. It's a very, very good rumor, says Bill Godley, special agent in charge of the SBI's Northeast region, but there isn't the evidence to support it to closure. I'm not discounting it, but with the passage of time and the death of the dentist, it makes it impossible to make the case. Well, they were saying this in 1997, but, they could definitely, if they still have some of the items, send those back through and see what the FBI can come up with. Thorne says her family never questioned whether authorities were pursuing all the leads, nor did they hear the theories about Dr. Edwards. So when Dottie Fry came forward in public accounts a few years ago, the family's entire view of the crime changed. After speaking with Dottie and others in Manteo, I concluded that Sheriff Cahoon's friendship with Dr. Edwards, oh boy, oh God. So that Cahoon guy that we've been talking about, the sheriff, he was friends with this guy. But Dr. Edwards kept the whole truth from being divulged. When Dr. Edwards committed suicide, there was sort of an attitude of, let sleeping dogs lie. Fry says she was not contacted by authorities about her former husband, and that she spoke about after all that time because she wanted to set the record straight. I felt sorry for the family, Fry says. adding that she wishes the evidence were more clear. It's sad that there is some doubt in people's minds because there is no doubt in my mind, Fry said. Whatever became of Danny Barber is unknown. Thorne says she last heard he was still in the state and had tried to go on with his life. Sheriff Cahoon died some years ago. Many witnesses, too, have passed on. The case remains open but inactive at the SBI. The last time it received priority status was in 1977, when the SBI formed its special task force to look into a host of long unsolved slang, almost like a cold case task force. Godley says every now and again someone comes forward with information. A murder case is never closed unless it's solved, but the passing of every day makes it more difficult. For the Holland family, the time between Easter and Brenda's July 8th birthday remained traumatic. Brenda would have turned 50 in 2 days. The death, Thorne says, still haunts her parents, who are in their late 70s. My parents have suffered. They have never gotten over this, she says. As a little girl who idolized her glamour, the father actually died. The mother, I think, died in like 2013. And the father before that. As a little girl who idolized her glamorous and popular teenage sister, Thorne says, she never felt she could match Brenda's achievements. I remember her being so beautiful and sweet, she says, recalling a tender moment in church when she laid her head on her big sister's lap. The authorities will not close the case despite the family's conviction. It's a matter of some frustration to Thorne. She says there is comfort in thinking she knows who killed Brenda. Still, she says she wishes for some final official outcome to the case, something more satisfying than inactive or unsolved. Mostly, she wishes that a 30-year-old mystery could be put to rest so that her sister's memory could be graced with a beginning and an end, rather than merely a before and after. And what's this guy's name? Okay, Linus Edwards. Let's check something out. No, this might be it. I guess the rights set for him. Funeral services for Dr. Linus M. Edwards, the only practicing dentist in Dare County who died Tuesday of a gunshot wound in the head, will be held at 2 p.m. Tuesday. I bet he killed himself because of guilt of all the stuff that he's done. Edwards, 53, was found lying on the kitchen floor of his home in the 53 is young, right? Mother Vineyard section of Roanoke Island late Sunday by Dwight H. Wheelis, a Monteo attorney. A .22 caliber revolver was found near his left hand, according to Dr. Wallace West Harvey, who was called at Edwards' home. Dr. Harvey sent Edwards to Portsmouth Naval Hospital in Portsmouth, Virginia, where he died Tuesday. Burial will be in the New Maplewood Cemetery in Durham. Edwards is survived by two daughters, Mrs. I wonder what they think about this. Mrs. William J. Watson of Roanoke Island and Mrs. Woodson B. Fearing Jr. of Greensville. They're probably pretty old at this point. So that actually was in the paper. I think it's the same one right here.
Particularly someone young and talented who seems destined for something great. The yearning to find out what happens never goes away. For journalist John Rayleigh, the story of Brenda Holland was one of those.
Rayleigh heard about the stories regarding Holland when he was a young boy and would visit family on the Outer Banks. As you'll see in this evening's Buckley Report, Rayleigh is telling Brenda's story and its connections to the Piedmont Triad in hopes someone somewhere can provide answers to what happened to Brenda so many years ago.
This is the story of a young woman caught in a storm. Who was Brenda Holland?
Brenda was a beautiful young
He's the one that
19-year-old
wrote
girl
the
from
book.
Canton, North Carolina, right outside of Asheville. She attended Campbell College. Campbell had a real strong connection to the Lost Colony and had long fed actors and staff there. So through that, she was able to make her connection and get to the Lost Colony and become the makeup supervisor, which was a pretty good coup for a 19-year-old to score that. Great irony was, it was one of the best summers of her life. I mean, she's slipping loose of her moorings as she always wanted to do.
And beginning to slip into the open seas of a relationship with Danny Barber.
Danny was in the play. Danny was a chorus singer. He'd been there for 2 years. He was attending Chapel Hill, so he was kind of a big deal.
It was June 30th, 1967, the summer of love. And perhaps Danny and Brenda were heading for just that when they went out on a date that night.
First they go by Drafty Tavern, which was a great dive bar on the causeway.
And eventually back to Danny's house. He shows up at the theater the next day, but without her.
Brenda was such a responsible girl that when she didn't show for work the following...
To Danny's house. He shows up at the theater the next day, but without her.
Brenda was such a responsible girl that when she didn't show for work the following Saturday evening, everybody knew something was wrong.
They pulled Brenda's body from the water 5 days later.
Mainland Dare County was Cahoon's world, the part of the county from which he sprang all those years ago. He knew every inch of the area's pine lands, water moccasin-ridden marshes, and fishing camps.
Journalist John Rayleigh has a new book that gives the inside story of Brenda's death that had never been revealed before now, including the massive mistakes Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon made.
Hey, we got that picture.
Cahoon got out of his steaming car and walked up to the door of a vacation home of a man he knew, Jim Henson, a dentist from Greensboro. He knew he'd have to secure a boat, preferably one near the site, to get to the body.
Is it fair to say that the investigation was bungled?
You know, the evidence was lost or destroyed. That's not unusual in old cases, but in this case, one of the highest profile in the state, yeah, that was unusual. Brenda's clothes were washed before they were sent off to the FBI for testing. Yes, they'd been in the sound, but who knows what kind of fibers might have been lost or anything like that.
She was wearing this necklace when she was found, and even though the autopsy said she had been strangled, instead of keeping the necklace as evidence, the sheriff gave it back to her parents. So for more than 50 years, Brenda Holland's murder remained unsolved. In fact, it still is, but we have a much better idea of who may have done it after John Rayleigh got a break. He got his hands on the SBI's case file.
This is 400 pages, Bob. It's got seances, the supernatural. It's got a shallow grave. It's got a suspect who commits suicide. This is right from the SBI. This is their notes.
It was a case that nearly destroyed this community.
The thing about Roanoke Island is it's such a non-judgmental, welcoming place. But that investigation infected that island for that whole summer. You had neighbors informing on neighbors, lovers informing on lovers.
Despite all that, still no definitive answer on who killed Brenda Holland. But John Rayleigh has an idea.
But you gotta buy the book to find out.
Bob Buckley.
You gotta buy the book.
Oh, he's leaving.
Well, anyways, you can buy. I got the link to the book in the description. So. Ah, shoot. Okay, let me do that again. You gotta buy. Well, I mean, it kind of does make sense, right? I mean, you write this book, you're going to tell everybody the. I mean, that would be really stupid business at that point. Okay, so this is. I can see it here on this one, so let's see what this thing says. Brenda Joyce Holland, 19, was found strangled to death in her Outer Banks water in July 1967. No one was charged. Journalist John Rayleigh recently has urged the FBI to take another look at the case, and in April the agency said it would do so. And this was from 2018. On Valentine's Day 1971, Dr. Linus Edwards, his .22 caliber pistol and notepad nearby in his Manteo kitchen, placed phone calls requesting that his lawyer, a local doctor and Dare County Sheriff Frank Cahoon, come to his home. Oh boy. And if there was a note left, maybe we just never got to see it. Then Edwards, 54, put the gun to the upper left side of his head and pulled the trigger. Word of his condition rapidly spread across desolate Manteo. People wanted to know if the dentist had any last words. They had talked for years about his affair with a local woman, the drinking that turned him into a madman, and his abusive relationship with his first and second wives. But most of all, they talked about a time back in the summer of 1967 when some said he may have slain a woman. Edward's stepdaughter, Claudia Fry Sluter Harrington of Monteo, told me recently, I have no doubt Dr. Edwards was the killer. So that's crazy because this is 2018. This is 21 years after those articles that we just read. And they still think the same thing. You know, but here's the thing, we do know this, that a lot of the cases that are solved with genetic genealogy, at the press conference, it turns out that the person that they thought was the suspect for years wasn't the killer. But this one, you know, the guy killing himself and all the stuff and telling his wives, and it kind of just seems like they are onto the right guy here. You just never know, though, right? Edward's stepdaughter, Claudia Fry Sluter Harrington of Monteo, told me recently. Oh, this is the stepdaughter of Edwards. So that means he was related to, remember, Edward's stepdaughter, Claudia Fry Sluter Harrington of Monteo, told me recently, I have no doubt Dr. Edwards was the killer of Brenda Joyce Holland. He was certainly capable of that sort of violence. By that Valentine's Day, Edwards had been a suspect for almost 4 years, at least in the court of public opinion. In Dare County, highest profile homicide case, that of Brenda, the 19-year-old makeup supervisor at the Lost Colony outdoor drama. Brenda's strangled body had been found in Albemarle, probably like Albemarle, I don't know how to pronounce that, Sound in July 1967. A long-standing law enforcement theory that, while drunk, the dentist threatened the life of his second wife, Dottie, and she ran away from their home. The dentist later pursued her, the theory goes, mistook Brenda for his wife. But I mean, okay. That part's kind of weird, though. Wouldn't you have noticed at some point? But maybe it was too late, and he used her as a proxy, kind of. The facial resemblance between the two blondes was strong. Killed her and cast her body into the Sound. Brenda was a beloved and respected member of the Lost Colony crew, a Campbell College student from the mountains whose killing devastated her late parents and continues to haunt her siblings. Anne Holland Early, Charles Holland, and Kim Holland Thorne. Charles Holland, 63, of Haywood County, told me recently that something broke inside me when Brenda was killed. Harrington was 7. The man she knew as Papa Doc, could have moments of gentleness, but he was the most part a brooding, often drunken presence. Her mother's marriage to Edward would last only 5 years. In South Carolina, while Edwards was in the Army, he'd once threatened to kill himself, his first wife told State Bureau of Investigation agents. Her daughter would later tell an investigator that Edwards once choked her mother and released his chokehold after she, the daughter, threatened him with a mallet. The first wife and Edwards the first wife and Edwards divorced. I don't know what that means. Edwards and Dottie were married in 1964, and at the time Brenda was slain. Edwards was having the affair, according to the SBI file. Sheriff Cahoon, working with SBI agents, never took Edwards seriously as a suspect in the case, judging from the file. On September 28, 1967, according to the file, SBI agents gave Edwards a polygraph test at the Ocean House Motel in Kill Devil Hills. It's pretty amazing that he even had to, that he was a suspect. I mean, how did that come about at the time? You know, it's like, it gives it a lot more credibility that they were sort of interested and people that came forward. Sheriff Cahoon, working with SBI agents, never took Edwards seriously. SBI agents gave Edwards a polygraph test at the Ocean House Motel in Kill Devil Hills. Edwards did not show deception on the polygraph test, according to the SBI file, and based on discussion, Dr. Edwards has been eliminated as a suspect. Edwards and Dottie Fry divorced in 1969. Edwards stumbled on. In the days leading up to Valentine's Day 1971, according to the SBI file, Edwards had been on a drunk I don't know, wheelus. I'm not sure what that means. Got the Edwards home first, just before 7 p.m. Looks like there's something covered up here or something. Finding him shot and lying in the kitchen floor, according to the SBI. Willis called the sheriff's office. Edwards was taken to the Naval Hospital in Portsmouth. He died there 2 days later. His death only revealed the question about Brenda's homicide. Let me check something out. Well, I guess that's it. But I don't know. I think it probably is pretty likely it was that dentist. Just the way, what's going on in the story. And he's even told his wives. I don't know. What do you guys think? And that's going to be it, you guys. I got to go to bed. But hey, you know what? I made it on. We still got a 2-hour and 20-minute show in. What do you think of that, huh? Pretty crazy. Yeah, it seems like it. We just don't really know, but it sounds pretty interesting. And I bet you there is a ton of other information that we're just not seeing in these articles. You know, that 400-page document or file. I guarantee it there's way more. Yep. Well, thanks. All right, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad I mustered up some energy to do the show. I might not do. I'm just gonna maybe just do the closing wrap, and then that's it tonight. What happened, Zozo? What was the yay? What happened? Oh, what good would exhuming the body of the dentist do? They'd have to have some kind of a DNA sample to compare it to. I think if they were able to find Brenda's clothing or something and re-examine it, and they found an unknown DNA profile, then they would exhume his body to compare it. Is who okay? What are you talking about, funny lady? I don't get it. Yeah, I was just out golfing in the sun, so I'm tired. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm just tired. I'm not sure what a millster is. I don't speak girl code. You guys are gonna have to help me out. Yeah. But I had this story and I wanted to do it. I think you guys thought it was, I mean, it's cool, right? Because it's interesting and you kind of know all of the basic information and visually have it in your head where different things were, and you know, maybe reading the book at this point and no, I don't know the guy, and no, I don't get a cut of anything. Alright, so thank you to AK, LM, Cairo, Zozo, Lanky Tor, Baby Brown, Bear Cub, Michelle Nicholas, D&K Reck, Sandra Turner, Rhea Mazzarone, LM, Linda Howell, Susanna, Mac Gilla Podrick, Lanky Tor, Daryl Montgomery, Rita Schaefer, LM, Sarah Smile, Jen H, Quietly Frozen, Sally Galerno, Shogun Love, D&K Reck, and Rita Schaefer. I just checked my emails. There's all these, hey Gray, here's a Summer Wells update, here's a Summer Will. Yeah, every once in a while you can go somewhere else for a while, you know? Think of something else. There's other things going on. But yes, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. And, you know, make sure that you're being safe out there. You guys all know what to do. Get the vaccine. It's not dangerous.
Well, Gray, I heard this one story where if you take the vaccine, you turn into a magnet.
Well, those people are total idiots, okay? That doesn't happen. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while
Gray,
now.
such a short show.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person. I was tired and I did it anyways.
Okay, but
Crime
try.
dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check. Hey, thanks, Holly. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And until next time, be safe out there.